Your favorite rock star? It always was, it always is, it will always be Sammy Hagar on so many levels. First of all, before Crest White Strips, best teeth in rock and roll. Sammy is a brilliant, brilliant businessman. He does his homework. He did his homework. It was back in the day when we had 2 newspapers that were more than 4 pages long, before the death of the publishing industry. Sammy would come into town. He would read both newspapers, he would watch a local newscast, but even more than that, he would have notes of the last time he spoke to you. So even if he didn't remember you, you thought he did. Now, as a DJ, that made me feel like $1,000,000, that big of a rock star had remembered me. Anybody remember Carol Channing, Hello Dolly? To this day, she travels with her Rolodexes. You know, at that point, you just don't even begin to put them into a PDA or a smartphone. She has suitcases full of she has a Rolodex for every city she's ever performed in. And she keeps notes. And she goes back. So if you interviewed her 20 years ago, she can go back and look at the note and tell you exactly what you talked about. And you know, I remember we talked about your dog, Lulu. I know you're done. I'm sure the dog's not around anymore, but you have a new pet. It makes people feel like $1,000,000. And Sammy could come in and do more than just schlep his CD and talk about his show. He could talk about what you talked about the last time. He could talk about what was going on in your city. He could make a joke about it, you know, politics or something, or the heat, whatever. I could keep Sammy on the radio for 2 hours and nobody ever tuned out. But it's because he's done his homework. And you know what? Every single person, you and I, have no excuse. We have Google. When's the last time you Googled yourself? Do every single one of you Google yourself on a regular basis? Do. Because first of all, it's just amazing how much is out there. I'm always scared something from the 80s is going to come back. Every once in a while somebody posts a picture and I'm scared to look. But it could be. But you know, you have no excuse. How many of you Googled me before you came today? Because I Googled a lot of you and found out a lot of information about you, even before you did your thing today. And I was able to talk to Karen and Carol and Jay about what they do. Do your homework. It just is so easy these days. Before you're going into a meeting, I just did a very lucrative speech for a financial services group in Houston. It was down to me and another speaker, and they had us both come in at separate times. The CEO and the COO wanted to meet and make their final decision. And one of the things I said to the COO is I said, you know, I was looking up some information on your company, and if you don't mind, I have a personal question. And he said, what's that? Very blustery man, very smart man, rules the world. Is that your grandmother's obituary? Is that her that I said I searched for you, and her name was Pearl? And he goes, I mean, he just melted, and he got the biggest smile. And he goes, yes, and her twin was named Ruby. And they both lived to 98. Wow. And she was like a spitfire. Her obituary was hysterical. So we ended up talking about his grandmother for 15 minutes.